Well, hello everyone. We're so excited to be here with Miss Alice, the famous and amazing businesswoman, fashion icon, designer, mom of three beautiful babies, and also tablescape queen. Oh my goodness, your tablescape have inspired me and many other women, friends, and we just love what you do, how you make it so easy for us to entertain our families, to make memories around the table. So I am so extremely honored, and I want to give you the biggest welcome to Dallas. And we hope you come again. And I'm so excited to everyone that is, here right now with us, for this treat. So thank you.
Well, the treats, this is my treat. Everyone's saying thank you for being here. I'm like, thank you all for having me. I've never been to Texas before, let alone Dallas, and to have, starting with the warmest welcome from Catalina has been literally a dream come true. She's saying I'm the inspiration. She's the one, look at this wonderful empire. I'm going to add so many more children to my planned agenda right now, saying the amount of baby stuff that I want. I'm like, God, Nancy's already grown out of that size. I'm gonna have to, but it's a real treat to be at Dondolo, and even more of a treat to meet Catalina in real life, who I feel like I know. I don't know if you all feel that way, but when I met her yesterday, I was kind of like, hi, but and it's like, no, we've actually physically never met before. But we are here. We're going to talk you through some of our holiday favorites, talk you through our new collections, and just get you all ready for the holiday season ahead.
Yay! So we're gonna do kind of like the whole walkthrough with the table setting. So what is your favorite? Where do you start? Yes, where do you start?
So I always like to kind of try and pick a theme. So as you can see here, we've got 3 holiday themes. We've got a kind of Swiss inspired. I was born in Geneva, so I really wanted to I had 3 huskies called Pushkin, Goggle and Beanie.
Oh.
So I brought that to this year's collection. We then have a more traditional theme, but I wanted to elevate that to a little bit of the Ralph Lauren home feel with the tartan, very much your reds and greens. And then for the fun gang, I feel this is actually quite Dondolo, is our Mrs. Claus, the joke on my mother, who couldn't be any less Mrs. Claus these days because we're lucky to kind of get a present. Thanks, Mum. I'm joking. But this is red and blue, really. It's just meant to be fun. And what I always love is the fun one always does well for us. I don't know if you're the same, but
Same.
I would always think that just the traditional sells, but people really like the...
People really like, the blue with the red and, just the
good. This is ideal. So first I'd pick your theme. Would be my
that's
number
amazing. And what will be your number 2? Because I think that there always have to be certain steps, to make it easier and to make it. Yesterday you said something that I was like, exactly, bringing together the whole table to make it easier for everyone and not complicating yourselves. Yes. I think that is the key, and you make this table so pretty and so easy that it's just so natural.
Well, you're sweet to say that. I really started Mrs. Alice to take the hassle out of hosting and to really, we've found that our wonderful customers they don't really like to color outside of the lines. So when we say, right, here is blue and red, the hassle is taken out of them, because hopefully if you needed the vase to work within that theme, it's there. You don't have to think about it. You are just there enjoying that moment with your family, with your friends. So when you say, going back on myself, where would you begin? I always find, choosing a cloth is my number 1, because I find everything else kind of falls from that. So I'd really, we've all heard it before, but layer, a bit like you layer your home, I layer my table. A home's not a home without, look at your mirrors on the wall, your lamps, your, all those textures. It's the same for a table. Your placemats, your crackers, your linens, but also if you have a favorite, if you're like, I just really want to work, this blue and white tree, then, I'll try and get the tablecloth to match it. So really layering and then mixing those patterns and textures It's always a good idea.
I feel I'm so inspired by you and by doing this. And I feel that, yes, a tablecloth is like that canvas where you start building it up and using that as your, main thing. And then, so mixing patterns and then best way to incorporate both collection. What about that? The mixing and matching that you do so well, like between coultery and, the bases. And I feel that once I started, kind of like getting your pieces, I felt that it worked with so much more, which for me is like amazing because you can pull it out. Like right now, like I got these vases and I use them all year round, but they work so well with Christmas.
Well, I think my mother's like very much to thank for that. Like she truly lays tables actually less to entertain. She lays tables because she does it for us and for her family and for her home. And therefore she has to have a functionality behind that. And I think that's really, really important. I want to help people, and it is not helpful for me to say, here is a new vase every season. I want you to be able to use your boxwood topiary trees that you might have bought at Easter, which you did. They came with gingham bows. You've already bought those, and hey, you can just add a red velvet bow, and you can infuse them. The same with your cutlery, the same, our lanterns. Okay, you might not have that on your summer table, but this is a very blue.
4th of July.
Well, sorry.
Amazing.
This is actually a 4th of July table, bar the
very American. Yes.
And I think she's really taught me to do that. And a lot of our plates. This is actually from our Queen Elizabeth's Jubilee collection. And so we just wanted to, it was a best-selling plate for us. So we were like, okay, well that means there's quite a lot of customers out there who've already got this, who can then, all they need to do is just add the placemats, for example, to make it feel festive. So that's really important to us. We keep on trying to reuse that.
I love it all. You do such an amazing job at putting all those details together, and you know how much I love details, and special, surprises. So you do that on the table so incredibly well.
I'm not sure my buying team feel the same. I think they would like it if I didn't like all the details quite as much.
Same with my factory. They're always like, what? Again? But that's what I think people fell in love with and find interesting, and it's what you want to save in your forever boxes, in what you're gonna reuse and keep making memories. So it's amazing.
Awesome.
Do we have any questions?
Yes, we do.
Amazing.
So actually the first question would just be, what was your inspiration for starting Mrs. Alice, and then, Dondolo as well, if you wanted to start with that?
Well, Mom, you've lucked out. I've talked a lot about you here. But definitely my mother, she's always laid tables. We've always done it in our home, and she inspired me to make something kind of fun of something that could be quite mundane. Eating off a table every day can be quite similar, and she was always adding a jovial element to the table. So, when it wasn't such a fad to put a chick on the table, I remember her buying those wind-up chicks that did a little somersault on themselves, and I was like, that's kind of fun. And then it grew and grew, and then actually, I lived in the countryside at quite a young age and was entertaining a lot. And I realized that there was a slight monotony to just eating off a table that might just be mahogany. And not that I think there's something very chic about just a mahogany table, but I wanted to elevate that experience. And that really pushed me and inspired me to make that leap and really ultimately make it an easy experience to do what I was doing, because I found myself actually spending too long when I wasn't doing Mrs. Alice. I honestly would be downstairs 4 nights before Halloween being like, this is wrong, the color's not right, kind of doing what I do now, buying. And I was like, I really want to make this easy for people. I want to. And I think having people to stay a lot, I was always trying to change up that Saturday night, trying to make it more interesting, thinking of ways I could bring colors and
having orange candles on your, Thanksgiving tablescapes. When you said candles, I was like, yes.
Just those little things.
The blue to match the whole thing. Yeah. That's awesome.
But I think ultimately, though, it was inspired definitely from a young age of my mom doing it. But I do believe ultimately in dressing your table. I mean, a good friend of mine, Elizabeth, once said to me, you know, we've always dressed ourselves, and now it is time. It is the time to dress our homes and dress our tables. And I think that for women out there, it can be a very cathartic, creative thing to do.
100%.
And you know, I think as your children get older, we're all sitting there, and it's like, I don't know about you all, but it's the one time I can put like super glue on their bottoms, and they're actually there. So why not make the most of that moment of them all sort of together?
And they start learning how important it is to be around the table and to share those memories, because you're making something beautiful of it.
Exactly.
You know, it's not, you know, the routinary. It's just special and beautiful. And they learn how to stop and appreciate and learn.
Yes.
And it's there's creativity it's art.
Yes.
I think that's amazing. So talking about your mom, my mom was a big inspiration for me too. She did all the clothing for my sisters when they were growing up, hand smocked, everything. And for me, it was very important, that part of it. And you know, the heart of the brand is love. So being able to hire all the women that we do to do all the hand smocking and giving back, that's the heart of the brand and where it started as well. And I know, you know, everybody knows, you know, about Dondolo, you know, our followers, but you know, it's been so special to connect with you in terms of like, because we connected. So how we connected over COVID. We were, you know, I was at COVID, I was, you know, kind of like remembering my mom and how I loved doing tablescapes with her. And that's how we started connecting. I was like, I love tablescapes, and we shared that. And we became friends. And like you said, like yesterday, meeting you in person was, you know, so natural. So I feel that there's a magical thing about tablescape and connecting people and families at the end. So that's really beautiful.
So
Thank you for that.
the both of you mentioned just being at the table with your families, creating those magical moments and making, you know, elevating your tables. What is your favorite holiday tradition with all of this?
Well, I will say, I think it's always good to paint a real picture. When you start buying Christmas in February, you've taken like a tiny little bit of the magic. Like my mom and I, we don't go quite as whole hog as we used to because we've kind of been doing it for the months. So actually what we try and do is, you know, I shoot Christmas 4 months, and I have been at the back of it now for about 4 months. So we've had the snow machines, I've had the real reindeer, I've done a lot of the fake Christmas. So Mom and I now, our new traditions are just really keeping it simple and stress-free. And that sounds like it's not a tradition, but I think for every working or just not even working busy woman out there, that would be my takeaway to make your Christmas. The tradition should be no meltdown, no stress, nothing. And the easier you can make it for yourself, the better. You know, the tradition for a couple of years in my family was like, it was just all, we had like turkey sashimi one year. Literally, it hadn't been cooked properly. I'm joking, but and I think that's because we made it bigger than it needed to be. I think one year my mum hung like 62 wreaths around her house, and her house isn't even big enough to do that. And she just overcooked it, right? And I think maybe sometimes tradition is chasing traditions and like actually just like take it down a gear.
Go back to the basics.
Exactly. Just be with them. Be in your pajamas for as long as you need. Be present and be part of it all. And I know that sounds like a cop out of an answer, but
No, it's
actually very, very intimate. I think that for us, one of our biggest traditions in Christmas, well, my two things. We do a novena for Christmas, so we do a whole nativity scene around it, and we build it with the boys, and then we, you know, pray every night. And we sing, and it's very, you know, Colombians are very festive and very loud, and so there's songs tied into it, and it's like, and they love it. The kids love it, and you know, they know the song now, and it's precious. But what you're saying, like going back to your you know, your family dip traditions that don't require a lot, is just being together.
right.
But so my husband was born on the 25th, so we do a dinner for him, you know. So I need to have like 2 sets of tables always, just one for him that is like Christmas themed. You know, he has had a birthday cake with a Santa on top, you know, I had to. And then, you know, again, Christmas. So yeah.
Well, I
Kinda
think
like
that's a great tradition, a birthday and Christmas.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's brilliant.
And what is a must-have dish at your table?
I love, my mother makes bread sauce. Do you have bread sauce here for your turkey? Okay, well that was a good answer then. Is in bread sauce is like very English, like it's like milk and bread basically. It sounds disgusting that you blend into a sauce and you have it with your turkey. But she uses brioche rather than normal white bread, and it's delicious. It's like a pudding as your, it's like a dessert, and it really annoys my husband because it's like sweet and delicious. And yeah, so I'd say that. And I actually love creamed corn, which I think is more of an American tradition. My mother-in-law makes very good creamed corn, so
that's amazing.
What about you?
And for us, again, I don't know. We have like a pudding that is called, well, in Colombia, and we eat it the Christmas day and all those days before Christmas. And that's kind of like what for me is like Christmas, is like with cinnamon and like sugar, and you know, it's sweet, like you were saying, like kind of like a pudding that is very sweet. It's called natilla for those who want to look it up. It's just very Colombian. Colombian of me.
Okay,
I know, it's fun. And yeah,
bring this to cold Cambridgeshire.
well, that'll be something different.
Okay, so we're getting very near to Christmas. December is around the corner. What are you most excited about for the holidays?
I am most excited about my kids breaking up from school. It's like a very long innings. You know, they're there from September through December 16th, probably the same for you guys. And just to have them home, and our warehouse the orders slow down and life become, you know, it all gets back to normal a little bit. And so just to have that sense of home and family just for a nanosecond until January hits it's I can't wait. And it's like, for me, I don't know about your business, but it's like my one time that it turns off, like it's quiet. My team go on holiday, so I'm on holiday for the first time in a year. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's nice.
For us too, we go on holiday for 2 weeks. And that same weeks that the boys are out, and it's amazing. And this year I'm looking forward to go to Colombia with my mom, and we're actually going to, you know, everybody has seen Encanto, right, the movie. So we're going to actually celebrate Christmas. We've never done this in a place where it was inspired, like a little town just like it. Yeah, that is in the center of the country. So I wasn't born around there. I was born more in like Medellin and other cities. So I'm excited to go there and, you know, show the boys like, this is where they were inspired to do Encanto, you know, because they know Colombia, and they were like, well, Mom, I don't understand. And I'm like, it's another part of the country, right? So I'm excited to be like, this is the place.
That's really, I'd love to see that too.
Awesome. Well, last but not least, I want you to pick your favorite piece from each collection.
Wow. Each of the three.
So yours of Dondolo's, and then Catalina would pick one from Miss Alice.
My goodness, I think I cannot pick one. Can we do 3?
Yeah, you can pick them all.
I need more than one. Well, you know, you just can't find anything like these. So from yours, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that I could get myself into, what age is this? I'd like a matching. Me too.
We do have a mom gown.
I really want the whole family. I want this whole look. Like, I'd like all my family. I think that would be great, but I also do love all of this tartan. It's just great. I mean, I think Dondolo whites, these are my picks. But having said that, I mean, I can't really pick. Do you make this wrapping paper?
We do. We do it in collaboration with another women-owned business here called Joy Creative. Yes.
It's just so lovely to see it in real life, your things, you know. I don't think you guys appreciate how well made everything is. And I have not been asked to say that. It's like really, there are enough dresses out there that are flimsy. You've really thought about the fabrics, you've thought about the weight, you've thought about the fit. They're really
coming from you. That's huge.
No, I mean, be careful, Tom. I'm gonna fill my bags. I don't have a favorite from mine. I feel embarrassed saying that. You know, I mean, I'm glad to see we've got nude nutcrackers.
I love those new
Natural.
nutcrackers. So
They're
I'm gonna
so
share
different.
something. I saw this place and I told my husband last night, and he was like, laughing out loud. So I saw this place and I was like, these are perfect for our house in the mountains in Jackson.
Yeah.
And I don't have a house yet in Jackson, but I'm getting the plates, because that's what you need, right? You first need your tablescape, and then you get the house.
Exactly.
Right? Easy.
That's how I operate.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
normal. And he was like, you're too much. So I love those ski plates. Are incredible. They're like vintage. The scallop is incredible. Like, I want those so much.
Is this a man or a woman? There you go.
Yeah,
That's
they're
Tom.
awesome.
And that's you?
They're yeah. Well, and my second favorite, I think it's like the whole blue and red. I think in Dondolo we have been doing for the second year the blue and red combo, and I feel it's like so beautiful and so versatile, like and beautiful. Yeah, it's like so fresh. And the tartan, it's so incredible, and I love those. I have them in green. The glasses, the red glasses.
Yeah,
Oh,
great.
those are so good.
Very
They're
useful.
amazing
And
for
again,
even
there's
day
green
to
you can
day.
use any.
That's what we do.
anytime,
The
yeah.
green, we use them every day in my house, and they're amazing.
But the lanterns are also good. I like because you can have your table kind of semi-laid with the decorations and the lanterns when you just
Every day.
for the seasonal period, which I like. And there's not a single fresh flower on this table, and I'm a big fan of fresh
Yeah.
flowers. But it is nice for one time of the year. Why don't you own the fact that you don't need to spend lots of money on fresh flowers and fill it with trees and
That's amazing. And take, an hour before just putting flowers together. Yeah, you're 100%
I
right.
do.
And I love, like, one of my favorite things about you and how you do it is the boxes. First of all, the boxes are beautiful. Like, I still have them to store stuff around my house, but just to have like the complete look on the table, with everything in it, and you just open it up and just lay it out. It's like so brilliant and so curated and so beautiful and well made too. Like, these are incredible.
But that's the nice thing is that it is that in itself is creating a tradition. So even my kids have started recognizing the festive friends I bring out every year. So if you have these rattan reindeer, the idea is that you then put them back in their box on December the whatever, and then next year you bring them out again, and that in itself becomes that forever favorite. That I have a nutcracker that changes the date. And even I'm like, hey, it's Christmas, so I think the same thing can happen with your table bits.
It's
And
so
this isn't just
beautiful.
for your table, put them on your mantelpiece, put them on the side table,
That's amazing. Yes,
At
as part of
Christmas.
your decorations for, to say from like the beginning. Well, we already have Christmas lights right now in my house. We had, like Halloween decorations and Christmas lights at the same time.
And Thanksgiving falls in the middle of
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this.
in the middle of
I'm
the-
learning
yeah.
all of this.
But it's already done, we have them on because my boys really enjoy them and really enjoy the whole thing. So we do it. So what I'm trying to say is like you can start setting it up right now.
No, I'm only laughing because I put Christmas lights on our house because it lends itself very well to Christmas lights. It's like an American house with a porch, so we like hang them like this. And then I was like, I want to do like the twinkle settings. Anyway, it took only my mother to come and stay. Having had like 10 people already to stay, she was like, it's like sleeping in a nightclub. Because she was like, the lights, which is because I kept on like the twinkle settings. It's a nightmare. And then, I don't know about you, but I get really busy again in January, and then I'm like, it's January the 25th, and I still have Christmas lights.
Oh yeah. Or decorations, or the tree.
Yeah,
the
tree. Oh yeah.
On last year this year we were joking in my family that what about if we just leave it like that,
Yeah.
all the way around.
Oh.
We love Christmas, so just leave it on.
Daisy from my team said when she interviewed with me 2 years ago, it was February something, and she said I still had the tree. I was like, oh, it's basically Easter. Anyway, it's Christmas all year.
Yeah, it's Christmas all year.
But thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my
and I hope I
goodness,
can
thank
come
you.
back. Maybe with my kids next time.
Yes, we would love to
Fun
have your
ride.
kids. I would love that. I need to come to London I'm gonna accept that invitation. I was talking to a friend today. I was like, she goes all summer to London. I was like, you know what? I'm coming.
Yeah, you should come. And
I'm excited.
Everyone would die for all this. You should. Very much.
I'm excited. Well, I think that's it. Well, I want to thank you, Miss Alice, for coming here to Dallas to talk to us about tablescapes and just meeting you has been incredible. So thank you so much, and thank you to everybody that was watching. And DM us with any other questions that you may have about our collections. And have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.